First of all, good morning, and thank you, everyone, for being here today. As I think most of you know, I'm Hydee Feldstein Soto, the Los Angeles elected city attorney. I'm proud to say there's two elected city attorneys here today. My colleague, Dawn McIntosh, is the elected city attorney of the city of Long Beach, which, of course, is the second largest city in our county. I'm also honored to be joined today by 8 of the 13 additional mayors across 4 counties who have been authorized by their governing boards to join us in our efforts to challenge the unlawful immigration enforcement activities that have taken place in this area since June 6, 2025. Those 8 who are present here today include Mayor Rex Richardson with the City of Long Beach, Mayor Valerie Amezcua with the City of Santa Ana, Mayor Luis MacArthur with the City of Oxnard, Mayor Tim Sandoval with the City of Pomona, there he is, and Mayor Maria Davila with the City of Southgate, Mayor Jorge Chavez with the City of Bell Gardens, Mayor Natalie Alarcon from the City of Carpinteria. Mayor Arturo Flores from the City of Huntington Beach is on his way and will be walking in a bit late. There are also 4 additional cities that were unable to attend today, and those are the cities of Anaheim in Orange County, Beverly Hills, Linwood, Paramount, and Santa Barbara. I'm sorry, that was 5 additional cities. We filed our motion in intervention this morning with the district court. We filed a motion to amend our intervention complaint. So you currently have the County of Los Angeles and 7 cities with the addition of these 13 cities, and assuming that the motion to amend our complaint in intervention is granted, which we believe it will be, you then have the County of Los Angeles and a total of 20 cities here. It is my honor and privilege to be standing with my colleagues from across this region to say we stand together. I'm going to take a moment in my opening comments to address what I know is probably on everybody's mind, which is the federal government's request for a stay at the United States Supreme Court of the temporary restraining order that has been relatively effective at quieting some of the illegal activity in our cities. I would refer you all to page 27 of the federal government's application for a stay, where what I would describe it as is asking the Supreme Court for a license to profile and randomly arrest our residents. That page, the Solicitor General asserts that since 1 in 10 residents in the area covered by the restraining order are believed to be undocumented, they argue that that fact alone, that 10% of our population, according to the federal government, is undocumented, that is de facto reasonable suspicion to stop anyone on our streets or anywhere where they are who looks Latino, who speaks Spanish, who works as a street vendor or a day laborer, and to do so any place from San Luis Obispo to San Clemente and from Venice to the Arizona border. I would submit that that violates the Equal Protection Clause of the United States Constitution on a per se basis, and it is appalling to see the Solicitor General of the United States requesting that kind of authority to profile. With that, I'd like to turn it over to the mayors and electeds whose good offices have brought us here today, thanking them for their participation, and we'll start with Mayor Rex Richardson of Long Beach.
I'm a little taller. I may not need this box.
Sorry about that.
I'm going to step 1 foot down. How about that? Well, good morning, and we certainly want to thank you, City Attorney, for leading the charge here. And I am Rex Richardson, Mayor of the great city of Long Beach, and I'm joined by our City Attorney Dawn McIntosh, who is with us today. I'm proud to stand with our regional partners to send one unified message. We will defend the rights, dignity, and safety of every resident in our communities. especially our immigrant neighbors. In Long Beach, we believe in building a city where everyone belongs, a city where you can walk your child to school, open your business, visit your library without fear of being abducted by masked individuals in broad daylight. But that promise is under threat. The recent immigration raids across our region are not only reckless and inhumane, they're a blatant abuse of federal power. That's why today the city of Long Beach has joined a critical federal lawsuit alongside the ACLU, the state of California, and a number of cities and jurisdictions in unity. As the second largest city in Los Angeles County, Long Beach is throwing its full weight behind this strategic legal effort. This is not a symbolic move. It's a strategic one. It's our legal team, in coordination with community advocates, city leadership, we did what any responsible jurisdiction would do. We consulted the experts, and we're spending our limited resources where we believe we can have the greatest impact. This has been deliberate in choosing where we can make a difference. So this lawsuit is not just legal filing, it's a moral stand. And while the administration seeks to eliminate the TRO and restore chaos in this area in our communities, we say no. While they seek to further divide us, we stand united with the mayors in the cities across our region. It builds on actions we've already taken. We've expanded protections under our Long Beach Values Act. We've invested in legal defense. We've invested in resources for vulnerable families. We're also backing up our words with resources in our FY26 budget, where we've proposed, as a part of our Defending Long Beach Values Plan, dedicating over $5 million, making available to families being impacted by housing insecurity, loss of benefits, potential housing vouchers, all the federal actions that are creating more instability for our neighbors, including if you are afraid to go out and make a living, and make a difficult choice of going out to make a living or being separated from your family. This chilling effect that these raids are creating is real. They undermine trust. They destabilize families. They destabilize our local economy. They threaten decades of local progress. And so we're intervening to send a clear message. We see our communities. We see you and we value you, and we will fight for you. We're a county of working families and immigrants, a county of courage. And when we continue to lead with our values, equity and justice and belonging for every person who calls Long Beach and the Los Angeles region home. Thank you for your time, and we'll pass it on to the next mayor.
I do want to point out that we have 4 counties represented in our intervening cities. So with much pleasure, from the County of Orange, Mayor Valerie Amesqua.
I do need the box.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for inviting us to be here with you. We're honored to join in this lawsuit. I'm Mayor Valerie Amesqua. I represent the city of Santa Ana, and we stand proudly with our immigrant community and the other local cities in support of this lawsuit. We want to thank the city of Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, and Los Angeles City Attorney Hydee Feldstein Soto for leading this effort. We also want to thank the County of Los Angeles and all of the other cities who are joining the lawsuit. This is not just a legal fight, it's a moral one. Today is not about words, it's about action. Our communities have spoken, we have heard you, and are taking action because this is what you've elected us to do. Not just represent you, but also defend you from the injustices we have seen by our own federal government. As mayor of Santa Ana, I want to make something absolutely clear. We will not stand by while our immigrant communities are terrorized by unconstitutional and discriminatory federal actions. That's why we were the first city in Orange County to join this lawsuit. The illegal immigration sweeps are not only unjust, they're un-American. Let me say that again. They're not only unjust, they're un-American. Since when is targeting working families, fueling fear, and undermining the very trust that keeps our neighborhoods safe considered the American way? The federal government is clearly contradicting the foundations on what this country was actually built on. In Santa Ana, the county seat of Orange County. The recent immigration enforcement efforts have created fear on our streets. This climate of fear erodes the trust between our residents and local law enforcement. When people are too afraid to report crimes or seek help, our communities become less safe for everyone. And the harm doesn't stop there. Our local businesses, restaurants, and community spaces have emptied out, hurting workers, owners, and our city's economic health, as many residents are afraid to leave their home to go to work, do their shopping, or take their children to school. That is why the Santa Ana City Council was proud to be the first city to vote to join this litigation, and we stand with you wholeheartedly. Today's legal action reaffirms our long-standing commitment to protecting the rights of all residents. And I'll end with this. Our message is very clear. We oppose these immigration enforcement actions and the racial profiling tactics used by the federal authorities. 1 in 10, thank you for sharing that information with us today. Imagine that, 1 in 10. Every resident, regardless of immigration status, deserves to feel safe, respected, and protected under the law. And as the mayor of Santa Ana, along with my council members, we will do what we need to do to protect our community. And thank you, Mayor Richardson, for the money that your city has allocated in your budget. We have done the same, and we have Ayuda Sin Fronteras for our residents that can call for assistance, and we have a hotline available for them as well, and we're ready for this. And thank you all for being here today, and all the mayors for participating. Thank you, and I'm Valerie Mesqua, Mayor of Santa Ana.
Thank you.
And from the third county to be involved in this litigation, it's my honor to introduce Mayor Louise MacArthur from the city of Oxnard.
Thank you. Maybe I will stand on this second one here.
See, it's not
Right?
It's diversity. It's height diversity in our city. There I needed the bonus.
Yeah, spread my legs here. Thank you, Madam City Attorney, for this wonderful invitation. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. My name is Louise MacArthur, and I'm the proud mayor of the city of Oxnard, located just about 60 miles north of where we're at here today. Recently, Oxnard has drawn national and international attention, but not for the right reasons. Our city was once celebrated for its rich agricultural heritage and for our famous strawberries. We provide most of the strawberries that are shipped across this country and across the world. But recently we've become the center of news and attention due to the aggressive federal immigration raids that have impacted our community. These federal enforcement actions have disrupted everyday lives in our community, and they don't serve the public interest or further the public safety. The vast majority of those targeted are not criminals, but they are an integral part of our community. They are individuals who have immigrated here. There are mothers, fathers, grandparents who are doing the hard job that often those here don't want to do. Their disappearances are tearing families apart and eroding the trust in our public safety systems. As a former police officer myself, having been with the Oxnard Police Department for over 30 years, I'm keenly aware of laws and our constitutional rights. And I would never be able to justify the actions or the tactics that I'm currently seeing employed by federal agents. It is illegal to target individuals based solely on their skin color, their neighborhoods where they're living, their accent, where they're employed, the types of jobs that they're doing. Yet I see this occurring in our city and in our region. This is why we're joining our neighboring cities in supporting this lawsuit. We are committed to protecting their dignity and rights of all members of our community and across the state. Thank you, everyone. It's okay, you can clap. I think that was very good, yes.
Okay. And from the city of Pomona, it's my honor to introduce Mayor Tim Sandoval.
Yeah, I think I'll just stand. Good morning, everyone. And thank you, City Attorney, for bringing us together this morning. Today, Pomona stands proudly with our sister cities for justice, dignity, and due process for all who call our cities home. In my city, the pain and fear our residents are experiencing has been palpable at our public meetings. A young woman shared the story of her father being taken by ICE in a neighboring city, and she said it shattered, as she said, my world. This young woman, her father, this family, these are our people who work on our homes, care for our children, work at our restaurants and factories, pick up and deliver our food, serve as first responders. They are the lifeblood of our communities. When our cities are shaken by fear, when trust between people and their local government is eroded, the very heart of our community suffers. By joining this case, Pomona, we are standing up against these harms and affirming our commitment to protect the rights of immigrant families and to uphold the democratic and constitutional principles that bind us together. Let's not forget that we are talking about our democratic rights and our constitutional rights, which affects every single American in this country. I want to thank our legal team, our immigrants' rights organizations, of course, Mayor Bass and the City of Los Angeles, and the plaintiffs who are courageously fighting to protect the right of our residents to live and to work without fear of being apprehended or having their families separated. Thank you.
And next up is the mayor of the great city of Southgate, the Honorable Maria Davila.
Thank you, District Attorney, for City Attorney.
I just got a promotion.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here today. Maria Davila from the great city of Southgate, here representing our community. We're here today, to show our upsetness of what's going on in our community. Southgate has seen growing sense of fear, confusion. ICE operation have increased across the region. Families are afraid to leave their homes. Residents have come to city council meetings pleading for answers, for protection. We cannot ignore the real harm that this is doing to our community, the mental health that it's happening in our children, our family, our seniors, that they are afraid to go out to their senior events because they are afraid. Our police department has spent resources providing mutual aid for neighboring cities, pulling officers away from our own city. The impact has a significant to the city, made it difficult. And it was difficult for us, for the city of Southgate, to cancel our 4th of July celebration. For concern of public safety, fear, immigration enforcement action could target our residents during a time of celebration. Our local small businesses are suffering. Restaurants. Many residents are too afraid to shop and go out. This hurts our economy, reduces the tax revenue that we need to provide essential needs. We're especially worried that people may stop reporting crimes or cooperate with local law enforcement when ICE agents don't identify themselves or they have their face covered. We become unclear whether arrest is immigration related or local law enforcement. The confusion breaks the trust that we worked so hard to build. Southgate stands for safety, transparency, and the protection of all our residents' rights. We call for this accountability and respect for our community. The Sela community, the Southeast area, we all stand together because we need to protect our families. And I just want to thank everyone for being here and just to continue the support and continue working together as cities to protect our communities. Thank you.
And from Bell Gardens, Mayor Jorge Chavez.
All right, I don't know if I'm going to do this, but I'll try like this. All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jorge Chavez, Mayor for the City of Bell Gardens. Before I begin, I want to thank Los Angeles City Attorney Hydee Feldstein Soto for her leadership in bringing us together to take this important legal action. I'm here today alongside fellow mayors, not just to speak out, but to take action. Together, we're joining a lawsuit against the federal government for ICE's unlawful and unconstitutional actions in our communities. Particularly in my city of Bell Gardens, I've seen the fear up close. Parents afraid to walk their children to school, workers missing shifts, seniors trapped in their homes. We've seen masked individuals, armed individuals in unmarked vehicles, detaining residents without identifying themselves, without due process, and without respecting the law. Let me be clear. This is not justice, this is not public safety, and this is not American. These are clear violations of constitutional rights, rights that belong to everyone in our city, regardless of their citizenship status, documented or undocumented. The damage is real. Community events had been canceled. Businesses are losing revenue. Police are pulled from their core duties to monitor suspicious activity, and emergency programs had to be launched to bring food to the people that were afraid to leave their homes. This cannot continue. ICE is undermining public trust, hurting our economies, and destabilizing the very communities that we work to protect every single day. I have firsthand experience. I've confronted ICE before, and I will continue to do so. But today, we're taking this action in the court. We're fighting for justice, demanding accountability, and demanding an immediate end to these unconstitutional raids. Because in America, the law is supposed to protect the people, not terrorize them. To my community of Bell Gardens and all the surrounding cities, and along with the other mayors, we will continue to fight for you. We will be in the streets if we have to, in our city hall, and now we're going to do it at the courts. We will not let fear win, not in Bell Gardens, and not in any city represented here today. Thank you so much. I'm going to go say some palabras en español. Buenos días, mi nombre es Jorge Chávez, alcalde de la ciudad de Bell Gardens. Antes de comenzar, quiero agradecer a la abogada de la ciudad de Los Ángeles, Hydee Feldstein Soto, por su liderazgo y al reunirnos todos para tomar esta importante acción legal. Hoy estoy aquí junto a mis colegas alcaldes, no solo para alcanzar la voz, sino para tomar acción. Juntos nos unimos a una demanda control del gobierno federal por las acciones ilegales y inconstitucionales de ICE en nuestras comunidades. Particular en mi ciudad de Bell Gardens, he visto de cerca el miedo. Padres con temor de llevar a sus hijos a la escuela, trabajadores que faltan sus empleados, personas mayores atrapadas en sus hogares. Hemos visto a individuos armados y encapuchados en vehículos sin identificarse, detener a nuestros residentes sin tener una gafa, sin debido proceso, sin respeto a la ley. Quiero ser claro, esto lo que está pasando no es justicia, esto no es seguridad pública y esto no es americano. Estas son violaciones claras de los derechos constitucionales, derechos que pertenecen a todas las personas en nuestras ciudades, no importando su estatus migratorio en este país. El daño es real. Eventos cancelados, negocios perdiendo ingresos y la policía retirada de sus labores principales para vigilar actividades sospechosas y programas de emergencia creados para llevar alimentos a las personas demasiado asustadas para salir de sus casas. Esto no puede continuar. ICE, inmigración, está destruyendo la confianza pública, dañando nuestras economías y destabilizando a las comunidades que trabajamos tanto los días para proteger. Yo he confrontado inmigración en persona y lo seguiré haciendo, pero hoy llevamos esta lucha a las Cortes, exigiendo responsabilidad y el fin inmediato de realidades inconstitucionales, porque en Estados Unidos la ley debe proteger a la gente, no aterrorizarla. A mi comunidad de Bell Gardens, igual a todas las ciudades que están aquí presentes, vamos a seguir luchando en las calles, en el concilio y ahora en las Cortes. No dejaremos que el miedo gane, ni en Bell Gardens, ni en ninguna ciudad representada aquí hoy. Muchas gracias a todos.
Y muchas gracias al alcalde. Next is Mayor Natalia Alarcon of the City of Carpinteria. Thank you for coming so far, ma'am.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Natalia Alarcon, and I am the mayor of the city of Carpinteria. And I'm so proud to stand here today amongst fellow elected officials and municipalities in standing together in this lawsuit. I have seen firsthand how the immigration raids have affected my community. Kids being left without their parents, being afraid to leave their home, and so much more. Fear continues to intensify while the trust is being eroded. The tactics that ICE agents have been using are un-American and unconstitutional. And Carpinteria's participation in this lawsuit is reaffirming to our community that we truly believe that everyone's rights deserve to be protected, and we truly are a community for all in Carpinteria. Thank you.
And last but far from least, my friend Mayor Arturo Flores from the city of Huntington Park.
Thank you, guys. Just want to give my sincere gratitude to the city attorney from LA for the brave leadership that she's displayed in bringing this matter forward. The case that's taking place now, it's a pivotal case in the fight of us that we're having against some of the grave injustices that we've been seeing take place. I'll remind the public that this is what initiated and has led to the TRO stopping some of these arbitrary stops. So the city of Huntington Park is proud to stand with the city of LA, and we're proud to stand with the leaders that you see up here and trying to restore order and trying to restore some type of faith in the Constitution of the United States and the protections that are supposed to be afforded to everyone that resides in the United States. I will say this, I did get here a bit late. I just got off the phone with one of my residents for the city of Huntington Park. Her name is Sabrina Medina. Some of the media might have seen that her and her mother were detained yesterday in MacArthur Park. In June of this year, the city of Huntington Park was catapulted into a bad episode of reality TV, and I mean that in reference to the Dr. Phil show, and Director of Homeland Security Kristi Noem coming to my city to film a propaganda commercial. They were looking for Ms. Medina's husband, who they were looking to deport. They did not find him. No arrests were made. They came back in July without Kristi Noem. The same thing, trying to enter the property without displaying a proper search warrant. Same thing, no arrest was done. Yesterday, federal agents descended in MacArthur Park and arrested Ms. Sabrina Medina and her mother, Elizabeth Medina. In the course of that arrest, Sabrina Medina, who's 5 months pregnant, had to be rushed to a hospital because she suffered some sort of medical emergency. When she was being treated, simultaneously, somewhere in between that, she was being interrogated by federal agents about the whereabouts of her estranged husband. I will say this, Ms. Medina was released yesterday evening. However, federal agents have informed her that they will keep her mother because she's here under the U visa. And they have given her an ultimatum. You either turn your husband over, which she's continued to claim has no idea where he's at, or we're going to hold your mother hostage and do everything in our power to deport her. That's the kind of tactics, that's the kind of domestic terror that we're dealing with, that my residents are dealing with, and it's unacceptable. I'll say it also in Spanish. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Arturo Flores, soy el alcalde de la ciudad de Huntington Park. Quiero agradecerle a Hydee Feldstein Soto por su liderazgo y también a los líderes que ven aquí detrás de nosotros. El junio pasado, nuestra ciudad fue víctima de una operación de propaganda por la directora de Seguridad Nacional, Kristi Noem, y el show de Dr. Phil. Llegaron a una casa de 1,000 residentes de una muchacha que se llama Sabrina Medina, que tiene 5 meses de embarazo, buscando a su esposo. En junio no lo encontraron, no habían arrestos. En julio regresaron los agentes federales otra vez, no habían arrestos. Ayer arrestaron a Sabrina Medina y también a su mamá, Elizabeth Medina. En el proceso de ese arresto, Sabrina sufrió una emergencia médica y la tuvieron que llevar al hospital. Cuando estaba ahí en el hospital, los agentes federales le dijeron a ella, te vamos a dejar ir a ti, pero si tú no nos das o nos dices dónde está tu esposo, vamos a agarrar a tu mamá, ella se va a quedar con nosotros y la vamos a deportar. En este momento, Elizabeth Medina, que es la mamá de Sabrina, todavía está en custodia de agentes federales. Esto es el tipo de terrorismo que estamos enfrentando en nuestras comunidades. Could you imagine being faced with that type of option, with that type of decision where you have your mother who is in federal custody and you have to produce information that you don't have, or you have to turn somebody over, or you know, this is what we're dealing with. So I'll leave you guys with that. I am 100% behind and in support of the legal action that's taking place here. I think that every state and every city should start to make preparations in anticipation that this too will come knocking on your doors. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so that's my cautionary tale to every nation, to every every state, to every city, to start preparing for these types of weaponization, these types of terror tactics. Thank you guys so much.
Before we open it up for questions or for side Spanish language interviews, I want to thank our partners in this litigation, not only those in the room here today, not only the cities who are joining us but couldn't be in the room today, but I want to give a very special thanks to the ACLU and to Public Counsel for bringing this lawsuit. I want to thank the brave individuals who allowed their names to be attached to the complaint as plaintiffs, and I want to thank the organizations like CHIRLA, who have been in this fight for a very long time and have stayed in it on behalf of all of our residents. Most of all, I want to thank the law firm of Munger, Tolles and Olson, who is representing everybody up here today on a pro bono publico basis. They have very graciously lent their talent and their professionalism and their law firm services to make sure that we have a voice, a collective voice, in not only protecting our residents, but protecting our governments. We have our own interests as sovereign jurisdictions. We have our own interests in the loss of revenue that we don't collect business tax on. We have our own interest in the diversion of our resources and our services that is occurring as a result of the federal government's unconstitutional action. I have, I guess, several copies of page 27 of the application that I mentioned earlier, in case any of you would like to see that, in fact, the federal government is asking for a license to profile. And with that, I think we'll open it up for questions.
City Attorney, do you believe that the federal government is violating the TRO as it stands, and does the city plan to bring any sort of legal action against it? Mayor Bass said yesterday that the Penske truck ban seemed like a violation of it based on racial profiling. I was wondering if the city is going to bring any sort of legal action or is preparing to do something.
Mayor Bass is absolutely correct that from the videos and the preliminary information we have, it seems to be a violation of the temporary restraining order. Our judge in the district court is out of town until, I believe, August 16th. We are gathering evidence. We are evaluating what we would do. And in all likelihood, if we come to the conclusion that this is a violation of the temporary restraining order, we would be taking action, whether it's to find the ICE agents who conducted the raid in contempt of the TRO or to get stronger protections. I'm not sure yet. We are very cognizant of the fact that that Penske truck seemed to be engaged in a lot of the exact behavior that the language of the TRO specifically prohibits, and I would venture to say that the combination of that raid and the stay application that was just filed are not entirely unrelated, but of course I don't know that.
A couple of questions here. Number one, I just want to be clear. This federal lawsuit, this is a federal civil rights lawsuit, correct?
It has multiple interests. Okay, the individuals are asserting their rights under the Fourth and Fifth Amendment. It's not really a 1983 action, it's constitutional rights against illegal searches and seizures. Oftentimes individuals, if you read the Ninth Circuit opinion on this, have difficulty in obtaining injunctive relief because they cannot prove that they individually are likely to be harmed again in the future. So they were joined by a number of immigrants' rights organizations asserting the rights of their members collectively. If you read the birthright decision from the Supreme Court, the ability of those organizations to assert the rights of their members by way of association may or may not withstand the test of time, although there's ample case law to support it today. We stand here as government entities to lend our weight, our sovereignty, our damage to the lawsuit so that collectively these three groups justify the three requests for relief that have been made. One is a permanent injunction prohibiting this kind of behavior, and that is something that I think we are uniquely situated to bring forward, and that's what we're doing.
Right. And the U.S. Attorney for Los Angeles has made it clear that in his estimation, in whatever injunctive relief, whatever the TRO is, the federal government has authority to trump that and to continue doing what it's doing. You've heard.
I assume that pun was intended, sir.
Second of all, he claims that the agents, under the guise of probable cause, looking for illegal immigrants, has the right to stop, question anyone that they feel could be an illegal immigrant under the guise of probable cause.
I saw the tweets from our U.S. Attorney. It is not on brand for me to respond in any media, including social media. I tend to respond to folks in court. That's my job as the city attorney. She's not an attorney. I am an attorney governed and limited by my rules of professional conduct. I may let some of the mayors speak to this. I do want to say one thing on the topic. No one can stop the federal government or should want to stop the federal government from enforcing federal law. The federal government always has the right to enforce federal law. The issue is how. The issue is how can they do it constitutionally? How can they do it legally in compliance with due process, which requires notice and a hearing, in compliance with restrictions on illegal searches and seizures, in compliance with equal protection, which prohibits the kind of profiling that the federal government is now arguing for. With sir, I'm talking about the United States Constitution, and I will do everything in my power to defend it with my last breath. I am not someone who is trigger happy. I am not someone who goes off and brings lawsuits for the sake of bringing lawsuits. This lawsuit came to me. I will not back down.
So for the request of
Let me have a couple of the mayors who I know wanted to respond to that question in a way that I could not. Am I right, Mayor Richardson? You seem to want to say something.
Well, that seemed like it was pretty specific to LA.
Yes.
I think
Anyone wants to?
Anyone else want to speak to the question?
Questions regarding the Attorney General's comments about
The U.S. Attorney's comments.
That they're going to continue the raids irregardless of what you folks.
Yeah, I'll comment on it. Yeah. I don't have a Truth Social account, but I did see the comment that was posted. I will say this. For an administration that touts the upholding of law and order, it's surprising to see someone of that stature, of that position, quickly state publicly that they're willing to ignore an order by a federal judge. So I say what's good is for the goose is good for the gander, but at the same time, if you're talking about upholding laws, upholding the Constitution and whatnot, then I think that that individual should lead by example.
And is there anything you'd like to say to the President of the United States? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, this is under his direction.
Correct. I don't have anything to say to Donald Trump. What I will say this, and I've said this publicly, I don't believe that Donald Trump is in control of what's happening here, and I'll tell you why. When this started in June, he made it very clear and actually went publicly and said, we're going to actually dial it back on the hotel workers, on the field workers, on the restaurant workers, right? And then enter Stephen Miller. And then you tell me what happened after that. So the individual that I feel is in control right now, that is steering this ship, that has the ability to make the President of the United States back down from his word, is Stephen Miller. And if you've heard some of the things that Stephen Miller has said and done, we're in a lot of trouble.
What do you want to say to Stephen?
Well, you know, I don't think what I want to say to Stephen Miller is appropriate, but I will say this. But I will say this: a lot of Stephen Miller's rhetoric is driven. It's hate-driven rhetoric. It really is he's a demagogue. I will say that. And so at the end of the day, there's folks that said that he should have probably got more hugs as a kid. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but I will say this, that a lot of his rhetoric is driven by hate. And I will tell you one thing, as someone who has served in the United States of America with white Americans, with black Americans, with Americans from different origins, descents, different countries, I will tell you one thing that I've noticed about our country that's probably one of the most beautiful things. And what the city attorney said up here, it's worth fighting for up until the last breath, is that there's a group of individuals that have came together and that believe in the American dream and that believe in the constitutional protections for all Americans. And if you read the Constitution, there is not a clause in there that states that in order for you to be afforded those protections, you have to have documentation or you have to have a piece of document. Those rights are afforded to anybody that is within our borders, within our land. So I'll leave you with that. But I will reiterate that's one thing that I've seen firsthand one thing that I've seen firsthand is how beautiful it is when we come together and the unity that comes from bringing people together. It's easy to spew hate and to divide because hate is a strong emotion. It's easy to do that. It's a lot more difficult to have the leadership to unite people under what our common values are, our core values as a nation. And I will say this, we're focusing on the wrong thing right now because there's a lot of stuff that's happening outside of the country that we should really be addressing. And right now we're literally fighting over street vendors, over people that are literally, hardworking Americans that wake up every day and try to run a business, raise a family. And we talk about the Santa Ana father that raised 3 Marines. I mean, that's just one example out of the many. I'm sorry, go ahead, una pregunta? Sí.
Gracias. Mientras que esta demanda sigue su curso, los operativos siguen sucediendo, ¿qué pueden hacer ustedes para ayudar a estas personas? Menciona usted los vendedores ambulantes y la gente que trabaja de vender en las calles y en la jardinería.
Lo que estamos viendo ahorita con lo que pasó había una orden por un juez federal que dijo que estas operaciones deben de parar. Lo que estamos viendo en Los Ángeles es que el gobierno federal parece que está tomando acciones donde están ignorando esas órdenes. Ahora, en ese momento, estamos en un espacio que estas cosas no han pasado en la historia de los Estados Unidos. Entonces, ¿qué le puedo decir a las personas? Que se cuiden a uno al otro, que estén en alerta al nivel más alto, pero que se cuiden a uno a otro. And she asked the question, what do you tell the people that are street vendors that are seeing that these raids are continuing? And the reality is that we have not seen anything like this where there's a perception of TRO that's intentionally being ignored, an order by a federal judge. I imagine that when that judge comes back from vacation, she's not going to be too happy seeing what's being done, especially when it's being used publicly on social medias as a mockery to this nation, the constitutions and its laws. And I told her, I don't know what to tell you about what we can say or do. What I will say is to tell those individuals to protect each other, take care of each other. Be on high alert, because at this point we are really in unprecedented territory. I'm going to...
Are any of you folks upset that you're not hearing from Republicans in Congress, that you're not hearing from Republicans even in California speaking out against this? It's just one-sided up to this point. Are you folks upset about that?
I mean, I think the point of the message today is this is a moment for unity. There are unity for everyone, the United States, anywhere in the United States of America. I think we're in a place where there may be urges to say this doesn't impact me or this may not impact my family. This impacts all of us, our entire social fabric of our community, and we have to stand in solidarity. I think this is mayors, these are cities, these are counties coming together to say no more, and this is unacceptable. And so we're going to use every tool we have, legal and otherwise, to keep the integrity of our community together. And I don't think, I understand the circumstance and what you're asking about, political rhetoric and political divide and gridlock in Washington, D.C. As mayors, we're not Democrats or Republicans. We're here to stand up for our communities. That's it. This is a nonpartisan role, and there's a threat against the very fabric of our communities in this moment, and we need solidarity. Anyone who is working to divide in this moment is actually doing the work of Donald Trump, right? We should be working together across racial lines, across generation, across city jurisdictions to make sure the integrity of our communities are standing together.
Let me be very clear. There are elected officials in these local nonpartisan bodies that are registered Republicans. The president of the Board of Supervisors of Los Angeles County, Catherine Barger, has stood as tall as anybody, and she is registered as a Republican. My own council member, John Lee, from Council District 12, has stood as tall as anybody, and he is a registered Republican. These are nonpartisan offices. These are, as the Mayor Richardson said, these are jurisdictions where we are all unified. You don't have any dissenting voices here on party. I can't control Congress. I think Mayor Carbajal has something he wanted to say. I'm sorry, Mayor Chavez has something he needed to say.
No, absolutely. Briefly, I do want to mention some of the things that our city has done to protect our residents during these tough times. One of the things we did, we passed an immigration resolution as a city, and I know some other cities jointly, the city of Southgate, I know the city of Huntington Park also passed some sort of ordinance. And we also have our control of our own local police departments, right? So in my city, we have Bell Gardens Police. I know in Southgate PD, Huntington Park PD. I know in Long Beach, you guys have your own PD, and we've had conversations with our local law enforcement. When there is presence of ICE in our communities, we've instructed our residents, at least in my own behalf, in my city, I've instructed residents to call the police department, to have them go out and report and identify who these individuals are, because the fear is there. Right? As I mentioned, I've had 2 instances where I've approached ICE myself and I've asked them for the identification to prove who they are to me. They were in a Durango, tinted windows, mask covered all the way to their nose, and at a bare minimum, supposedly this was a win because I got a badge number, but they didn't want to identify themselves. They didn't give me a name. I couldn't see their face, but they gave me a badge number, right? So, and when I confronted them and I asked them, you need to identify yourself. You work for the public, right? You work for us. So, I mean, these are individuals that aren't that are perhaps bounty hunters for all we know. I know that that's been something that's been floating around, but you know, it's very difficult because we built this bridge with our local agencies to come out, and that's the only department that's working 24 hours, 7 days a week, our local police department, right? And we're trying to take every action we can to protect our residents. This upcoming council meeting on Monday, we're going to be talking about an eviction moratorium for our residents, because we know that a lot of our residents happen to be living paycheck to paycheck. They're afraid to go to work. They're perhaps street vendors and you know, landscapers and so on and so forth. So we understand the impact that this is causing on their pocketbooks, and we all know that rent's not going to wait. Right, so on Monday we're going to be discussing putting forward an eviction moratorium to put a pause to rents. My city is overwhelmingly renters. Close to 80% of my community is renters. So this is top of mind when we've talking about impacts. Final thing, we canceled our 4th of July event. We canceled all of our summer concerts and movies. Our first event that we had back was National Night Out, right? And this happened just this week. An overwhelming response from the community. We had a great turnout because of this TRO was in effect. Then turn on the TV the next day and we see what happens, right here, not too far from this building. So again, it's frustrating. During summer, we redirected our resources. We started doing home delivery services directly to our residents. We leave the items, groceries, medications, any essentials, diapers, baby formula, you name it. We leave it on the fence for them, directed by our staff, without even engaging with them, because we know the level of sensitivity this issue is. And I've been thankful that within this first day, we had over 70 families registered. Right? So, I mean, these are the type of actions that cities need to take at this moment, because our people are afraid, and us as elected leaders, as mayors and council members and representatives, they're looking for us to answer this. Because it's not like they're going to reach out to Donald Trump, because we've all seen what he has done. So again, I appreciate what the city attorney has done. I appreciate all of the fellow neighbors from different counties. As a city attorney mentioned, there's counties who drove. I know my sister from Carpinteria drove all the way from 2 hours, close to 2 hours away to get here. Yeah, so again, thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate it.
No, there's one more, Mayor. No, Valerie wants to speak.
After we speak at the top, she has one last question for us all here, so she'll take the last.
So I just want to state, you know, being the mayor from Orange County, and I know Anaheim is joining us as well, and so we appreciate that. You know, you ask about parties. This is not a party issue, and I want to be really clear on that. Representing Santa Ana and Orange County, and we are the county seat, I communicate with Republican leaders all the time, and they are just as upset as we all are. They are just as upset. So when I meet with them, it's truly about how is it affecting your family and your family and your family. It's affecting all of us. And so I just want to be clear, representing Orange County, that we are all having a discussion about this because it is unjust and inhumane. And let's stay focused on the issue, which is protecting our families, protecting one another. And thank you for the TRO, and we're all here together to make sure that we stand united, and we want the federal government to see that we are united. And so we're also doing food delivery in the city of Santa Ana. I work with an organization called SIVA. We deliver 800 boxes of food every Saturday. There's other organizations, you know, people have given money. They're asking, where can we give money? How can we give money? Where can we deliver food? And so we are truly blessed. I think we are all very blessed by the people that are reaching out to say, how can we help us? How can we help you? How can we help each other? And how can we help our families? And I'd really like us to stay focused on that. Yes, we're going to fight in court, and thank you, and we are going to fight in court. But let's focus on taking care of one another and helping our families. Thank you very much.
Okay, one more question.
Yes, can I ask in Spanish? And
Sí, claro, sí, sí desea.
Acabamos de ver otra redada esta mañana en un grupo en Panas. Acaba de pasar la de Georgian Court.
Me lo acaba de decir por la primera vez. Yo he estado aquí. Yo no lo sabía hasta ahora.
Mañana más de 10 personas arrestadas nuevamente.
¿Era lo mismo con el Penske Trap o
No, que yo sepa, no llegaron en el Penske.
no era un camión?
Fueron carros sin marcar.
Exacto.
De arresto ni nada. Entonces, sigue pasando. Y la gente dice que bueno que haya demandas, se oye muy bien y todo, pero al final de cuentas no entienden quizá el tiempo que va a tomar. Y hay demandas y luego contrademandas y se detiene. ¿Qué le diría a la gente que sigue con ese temor, que quieren volver a trabajar, que quieren volver a la calle, pero sigue pasando esto?
Yo lo que estoy pidiendo al pueblo, que por favor tomen video, que por favor, especialmente las personas que son ciudadanos o que tienen documentos, que vengan al frente, que exigen de los agentes que se identifiquen, que digan la razón por la cual están ahí, que identifiquen a quién estar ahí para detener. Y si no contestan ninguna de esas preguntas, por favor, déjenos saber, denos una declaración de evidencia para regresar a la corte. Danette García de mi oficina, que está aquí, ella está en el proceso de comunicar con todas las agencias del gobierno que estamos aquí en este pleito. Lo que podemos hacer nosotros, yo soy abogada de la ciudad, yo he tomado un juramento que tomo muy seriamente a la Constitución Federal, a la Constitución del Estado de California y a los documentos de organización de mi ciudad de Los Ángeles. Yo estoy aquí para hacer lo que yo puedo. Mi poder es el poder de la pluma. Mi poder es el poder de la corte. No es el poder de poner a mi cuerpo de 4 pies 11 pulgadas enfrente de un agente de ICE. Eso es algo que es muy peligroso para todo ser humano. Ellos han demostrado que pueden detener a individuos que son ciudadanos, que están aquí legalmente, y como oyó del alcalde de Huntington Park, que hasta tienen lo que se llama una visa U, que es la visa con ayudar a la policía, y todavía la están deteniendo. Así que por favor tengan un poco de paciencia. Este respaldo que está aquí en este cuarto hoy, que está en la corte en adición, es para todos ustedes. Y seguiremos nosotros luchando, como dije en español, con mi último suspiro. Yo no voy a permitir que esta actividad ilegal e inconstitucional siga pasando hasta que yo no haya perdido con todo el suspiro que tengo.
¿Tiene esperanza entonces la gente que está detenida y que ha sido una situación ilegal, la forma en que lo llevaron?
Sí, claro. Como dije, la jueza que está a cargo de este caso, que ya lo conoce, está fuera de la ciudad hasta el 16 de agosto. En vez de ir corriendo a educar a un juez nuevo, digamos que estamos preparando lo que vamos a hacer cuando ella regrese.